Okay, here we go, map 5. First thing to do some slaloming through these side bits, pick up the armor bonuses and the extra bullets, because you will need every single bit you can get for this level. Especially this first section, which is pretty crushing. Then mask your surprise at the Revenant wandering outside of the front door, and then make the decision to kill him with your pistol. I think of the 50 plus times I've run this, I've only seen this guy come out once before, which is why I know if you leave him alive, then he gets trapped out here and you can't kill him. So, pistol it is, boys. He would have just been nicked with a chain gunner, which is why he woke up. Anyway, run inside, get your own chain gun, and then start shooting this pain elemental. And I like to kill him slowly, to see if I can bait some Cyber Demon rockets, which I didn't in that instance. So things aren't really going to plan so far. But if you stand here, you can bait some rockets, and then they will hit the Hell Knights, and there's some infighting going on. And the reason you want to do that, you know, aside from just general chuckles, is you want to save as many shells as possible. At least for the way that I do the upcoming set-piece fight. So he's wandering off. I'm just going to give him a little tickle with the chain gun, bring him back, and hopefully we get the Cyber Demons to finish him off. And there we go. Now I'll give his brother a little tickle. And not quite yet, one more volley. There it is. And he's dead. Okay, and we killed both of them without firing a shot, which is quite nice. Run around the corner and lay into this archvile, and if you stand with your back to the edge there, that pillar protects you from the Revenant rockets. And then I like to snipe them down with the chain gun from here. And then I'm also going to take a couple of pot shots at these imps who... it's preferable if they're dead, but I've run out of bullets, so we'll just press the button and run around here to kill this archvile. Now be very conscious that if you step too far back, the Cyber Demons will shoot you and explode you. So if you need to retreat, retreat all the way to the end. Now we get some armor. We jump over here. Yeah, platforming is a real big deal in this level, and it is really tough. At least I find it very tough. It took me a lot of time to practice this to get it consistent. But the first three you can straight run over, and then that last one I like to strafe run over to get into this section, which is a pretty nasty little fight. It's an archvile surrounded by a lot of pinky demons, and the double shotgun is not the right weapon for this fight. And if you get surrounded, it can very quickly go wrong because you can't escape quickly enough and the archvile gets you. So you really need to manage where the pinky demons are in order to be successful in this fight, because there's no real shortcuts. Well, I haven't found any shortcuts. And we've definitely spent more shells than I would have liked. I'm probably about 12 shells behind where I would like to be, but it's okay. Run full pelt out of here, position yourself, straight run, and then strafe run, push the button, and then straight run over those platforms. Now I need to be on 50 shells for this next fight, so that's why I left some lying around as an emergency. And then here, straight run, line it up, strafe run, line it up, straight run, and you're across. And 48 shells is exactly as planned, because now we're going to shotgun these Cyber Demons to death, which I don't think is the intended method, but I find it a lot safer and more reliable than what I think is the intended method, which is to get them to infight with a bunch of Barons and Hell Knights that we're about to unleash. So 28 to 32 shells is about right. Push the button, that unleashes the wall of Hell Knights, and you can see why you might want to keep the Cyber Demons alive here, but getting them to behave is just too stressful. So instead I like to make the Cacodemons infight with the Hell Knights because it's better than nothing, and then I will slowly chip away at all of the Hell Knights with my double-barreled fun gun. Oh, hello. And you kind of want to avoid the cacodemons coming in that side section because they impede your visibility, impair your visibility. Instead, you want to stand here because actually the line depth there is monster blocking, so the cacodemons can't float into you. But if they float in front of you, then the Hell Knights will shoot them in the back, which gives you more infighting opportunities if you should need it. Now, he's died in a kind of unfortunate position. This is what I wanted to avoid. I mean, it's not the end of the world. If he was like 8 to 16 map units closer to me, it would be bad. But as it is, I can still kind of see what's going on. And now I'm just going to kill as many Hell Knights as I can until there's some space, and then I'll drop down because I left those shells. And you can see why it's tight with ammo. And I want to make sure that I save exactly 6 shells, which worked out for me here, but if it hadn't, I would have switched to the... Well, I probably would have switched to the fist, actually. Anyway, pause here for a second. And then get this Pain Elemental. And then the reason we saved exactly 6 shells is this little chappy. So we kill him, and then we're going to take out this Pain Elemental with our bullets. And we ran out, so we're just going to punch him. And 3 lost souls is unfortunate, but deal with that because there's still some shells left lying around. Now normally I would finish this first section, so this is the first section done now, and it's the hardest section for sure. Well, that's maybe not true. I died on it the most, that doesn't necessarily mean it's the hardest. But anyway, I would normally finish with about 20 to 24 shells, so I'm definitely behind where I would like to be. Back to these platforms, straight run, strafe run, drop down, and now we're into this fun little fight. Important thing here is to not shoot. Instead, get some infighting going, pick up these cell packs, then the plasma, and then you want to kill this archvile. And this is the reason you don't shoot, because it's not just one archvile, it is 2 archviles. And they're much easier to deal with up here than they are in the main sort of arena. Now, depending on how good your infighting luck is, there'll either be some imps, no imps, or a metric shit ton of imps, which is what I seem to have rolled here. So infighting is pretty terrible, and I might try and see if I can remedy that. It's actually not uncommon for the imps to kill the Cyberdemon here. But he just doesn't want to cooperate, so fine, I'll kill them all myself. Now, interestingly, on Ultraviolence, I think this fight is exactly the same, except the plasma gun is down here behind where the Cyberdemon started, as opposed to right next to the Archviles, meaning you can employ the exact same strategy. And I think that still is the best strategy, but it's more difficult simply because of the placement of the weapon that you need to kill the Archviles, which I think is a really subtle but effective design choice. I do really appreciate that. You might have also just seen there that I activated a secret switch in the wall, which gives us a Berserk pack, which I will save for later because I want to make sure that I finish this fight on 200 health, hence why I'm saving the Soul Sphere. So now we'll finish off the fight, which just opens some cupboards, some enemies. I'm going to let them infight because this is the first point of the map that you can just really sort of chill. So I'm going to let them infight. I'm just going to chill out for a little bit, take a breather, and get myself ready for the next fight. In a really cruel twist, the Berserk pack actually sits on 20 damaging floor, which is just a real fuck you, isn't it? But that's why I'm okay. I've got health packs. And I'm gonna go get it now, and I managed to not take damage, and then I take the 20 damage anyway, so I paid the troll toll there. But it's okay, because I've got 200 health, which is what I needed for this next fight. And you don't need 200 health for this next fight, but it's good to have a buffer, I think, because this fight is a little RNG, I think. And it comes down to the monster infighting. Sometimes they just do not cooperate and they will not infight. And if that is the case, you are unfortunately way too under-equipped to deal with this. So kill the chain gunners, the mancubus, and then this secret little archvile. I've already pushed one of the switches, and when I push the next one, the fight will begin. So ready your plasma, push the weapon, pause here for a second, and then run back here and hope that you get some good infighting going with the cyber demons. When you can, make a break for the armor, because now you've got 200 and your safety net is established. And then run back to that little square there. That's your base, because enemies can't get you. And unfortunately, there is poor infighting, and I've paused here for too long and I'm trapped, so now I've got to push through. And that is why you need 200 for a consistent run of this fight, simply because of bad luck. I mean, that was bad positioning as well on my part. I can't say that's all bad luck, but you can see that virtually none of these Hell Knights are infighting, which does happen, and you've just kind of got to deal with it. Like I said, if you stand in this square here, they cannot get to you from the melee distance. They can still shoot you through the bars, and they can sort of surround the area, so you've got to be careful, but it is a safe space. Now, you've got to be careful killing the cyber demons as well, because they can see each other, so you can't just focus one down, because the other one will shoot you in the back. Now they're all dead, you can push the switches that the two cybers were guarding. Your safe space now becomes a set of stairs, and you've got the cyan key. Open the door, but turn around and get the rockets. 5 rockets, that's a real treat of a secret, isn't it? And then this fight is Hell Knights and Revenants. Forgot the word there. So you push the button and then you run backwards here, and you stand with your back to the wall, and then the Revenants above you cannot shoot you. And you can just stay here, take your time, and kill the Hell Knights with impunity. And rockets, you want to conserve rockets for this fight and for the next fight. Rockets are very valuable, so I'm going to fire until I've got 20 left. Then I'm going to switch to the plasma to finish off the Hell Knights, because plasma is not that valuable. And then I'm going to run to where the Hell Knights came from, push one switch, push 2 switches, wait, and then do a lap or 2. I'm not trying to kill the Revenants, I'm just thinning them out a little bit. It's pointless to kill them, because they're all going to get revived. So push the 3rd switch when you get a chance, run in here, forget that you have 0 shells, and instead go for the fist. And now when we push this switch, the tiers that the Revenants were on lower, and yes, it's archviles. 4 of them, 2 on either side. Really, this fight can go really wrong if they come inside like that, like they were just about to there. They just managed to recover from that. But the idea is you basically just hold down the mouse button to fire and hope that you end up killing the archviles through splash damage. This is why you need a lot of rockets, because sometimes you need a lot of rockets. If the reviving goes on for too long, and if you run out of rockets, that's it. Game over. That was unfortunate, but it's okay. We're about to get a Megasphere. And actually, it's worked out quite well, because I have 200 cells, which is decent, and I have 50 rockets. Now this fight. This is a really cool fight. So, okay, so where the door I came in from, that's 12 o'clock. Directly opposite it is 6, which is where this Megasphere is. And then this is 9 o'clock and 3 o'clock. You push the button. Every time you push a button, it opens up a core in the middle. One portion. And enemies will spawn in at 3 and 9 o'clock. Your safe space, therefore, is at 12 and 6. And that's what you want to run to once you push the middle button. You can back away in such a way that allows you to take a couple of shots at the archviles, which is what you saw there, and I'll do it again 3 more times in case you missed it. But the strategy here is you want to be very conservative with your rockets. You want to purposefully target the archviles and snipe them down. And try and get the baby cyberdemons to infight as much as possible. If anything dies in the center, it's probably going to get revived. So if there are enemies alive, like this Hell Knight for example, try and draw them out, because they're less likely to be revived by archviles if they're out here than if they're in the middle. Okay, so the first one done, and that was the Baron wave. This is the Revenant wave, and I'm running backwards to the 6 o'clock position. And then I'm just going to use the plasma to maneuver. I took a blast there, that was unfortunate, but it's okay. And now I'm going to move around, and I'm really just looking for those good shots against the archviles. You will run out of rockets in this if you're a little too aggressive with your shooting. You really want to focus on the archviles, and then if there are enemies in this sort of outer circle, you can kill them as well, because they are unlikely to be revived. So one more on this wave. And the waves, by the way, so the 12 o'clock button gives you Barons and Hell Knights, the 9 o'clock gives you Revenants, the 3 o'clock gives you Cacodemons and Pain Elementals, and the 6 o'clock gives you Hell Knights. And that's the order I like to press them in, because I like to have more health and armor available for the tougher fights. Now this Baron, I'm conscious there's a Cyber Demon behind me. I don't want him to come out behind me, so I'm just checking. But he's in the periphery, so it's safe to kill him, and then there we go. So that's that wave done. So now for the 3 o'clock button, this is Cacodemons and Pain Elementals. So we take a couple of shots, we back away, we focus on the Pain Elementals. Killed one, there's one still alive. And now, same again, just going to snipe these archviles. Yeah, kill the enemies in the periphery. This is definitely the longest fight of the level. It's not the hardest. The hardest is the secret fight, which we do last. But it is the longest, and I do quite like it. In fact, this level, I think this level is my favourite level. Although map 3 is a close second. This is definitely the most epic level, the most grand level. The music is just amazing. The fights are, you know, really big events. And the architecture and design is just grand. The whole thing is grand. This really feels like the pinnacle of the WoD. Like, this is as good as it gets, and this is just brilliant. Okay, last button, and this is Hell Knights. So we'll push this, we'll take some shots, and then we run to 6 o'clock. If you're wondering, the fight pretty much plays out exactly the same on Ultraviolence. The difference is you get 4 archviles per component as opposed to 3. And instead of a mega sphere, you get a soul sphere and a green armor, which is a fairly small difference, but it makes the fight even tighter. Again, sort of continuing that theme that Ultraviolence and Hurt Me Plenty are very similar, but Hurt Me Plenty is more forgiving for your mistakes and allows more of a margin of error than Ultraviolence, which I think is good, and I've said that before. In fact, I think I've said that in every level, because it means that you retain the challenge. The difficulty is still there, to a large extent anyway, but it allows you to make a few mistakes. It's more forgiving. Okay, so we've now reached the halfway point, and I'm acutely aware that we've reached the halfway point, and so I'm just pausing here as in the real world I wipe my palms, dust my forehead, and take a drink and sort of psych myself up mentally for this next section, because we're about to do a platforming section over instant death pits, and so everything I've done so far now comes down to some pixel perfect platforming, which when I practice it I have no problem. It's easy. When you're on a run, it's the hardest thing in the world. And this first jump, I overshoot it. Look at that, I'm virtually off the platform. Sidestep, cross, then you can do a normal run. You got to come up here for a secret. 1, 2, 3, push the button, ready the plasma, step out, get the soul sphere, jump down, deal with the revenant, and then press the wall behind him for a fairly obscure cell pack. Now we need to do it again. So step across, sidestep, forward run, and then sidestep run, ride the platform up, click the button, ride the platform up, and you're good. Easy, right? Yeah, try doing it on an actual run. And actually, when I was practicing this, I took a save just before that platforming section. That was like my marker for a save. And the way I practiced this fight is exactly as you just saw. To run up, wake up the Cyber Demon like that, and get him to infight, which is just really reckless and not my sort of style at all. But because I'd taken a save so soon before this was how I ended up practicing it. And actually, in the heat of the moment, I thought, let's not change the strategy, let's just go with what you've practiced, even if it is a bit reckless. Now we jump down here, we can pick up the shells and some rockets, and we can press this button, if we can press this button. I mean, this is just the nerves coming through now. Press the button, run back across the bridge, use your plasma to punch through, and then my strategy is to sort of just dance with this pinky demon until one of two things happens. Either I hear the deaths of 2 cyber demons, or I start hearing rockets blowing up my meat shield. Because there's some infighting going on behind, which you just kind of got to take my word for it. This works, this is very consistent, this is like another 95% strategy. And here, it's the rockets that came through, so my meat shield is dead. I'll finish off that cyber demon, and there's only 1 Baron left. And he was only at half health, so that's pretty good. And now look at all these Baron corpses and a Hell Knight and cyber demon. There was some serious work being done there. Now, I'm consciously saving those 2 cells because that's exactly 1 BFG shot for later. Instead, we come over here, press that button, and we start this cool fight. The strategy I have here is just ignore what's behind you. It's only imps, it's not going to kill you. Focus on what's in front of you. Move ever so slightly forward as you're going along, and focus down the Hell Knights. Once they're dead, flip round and start shooting in the other direction. And you'll know if you're doing it to time if the red key lowers when there's about 2 or 3 Hell Knights left. So we're exactly to time. Maybe a little bit behind. Now we can come over here and get these rockets and the soul sphere and get ready for round 2. Now the strategy here is to get blown up, get blasted, blow yourself up, run around the corner, and barely survive with the skin of your teeth. I mean, what the hell was that? These kind of things happen, right? No, the actual strategy here is, if you stand in the middle, the Cyber Demons will shoot the Hell Knights and Barons. They will then start to clump, and then that gives you an opportunity to push around the back, kill the Archviles, and create a little safe space for yourself. Kind of worked here. I mean, I'm still alive, so it kind of worked. I mean, I am still alive. And now I really want to be cautious about saving cells. So I'm going to use my shells and my rocket launcher to kill the rest of these barons. Up until I've got about 4 rockets left. And then I'll keep those 4 rockets, because that's how much you need to kill an archvile. So 1 rocket, and now I'm going to have to use... I mean, I could use Berserk, I suppose, but he was weak. And 280 cells is decent. So take a deep breath, then come around here. This is what we save the rockets for. We dip in and get some more. 3 rockets was pretty good for an archvile. Oh, it might have been damaged. And yeah, we need the red key. I'm kind of just going on muscle memory and adrenaline at this point. Like, the ability to make good decisions is just gone. But we've practiced enough that hopefully we can still muddle through. So we push these 2 switches, and then that will lower the wall, and we can go to the core, the Starlight core that the level is named after, and do the final fight of the level. Once we've done the final fight of the level, we will come back, we will get the purple key, and then we will do the secret fight, which I think is the hardest fight. So we'll save those 2 cell packs. Instead, we're going to come here and we're going to get the backpack. And then we want to get ourselves to 560 cells, so that when we pick up the BFG we have 600, and picking up the BFG kicks off the final fight. And the first thing to do is kill 5 archviles. So there's 1, there's 2, number 3 zapped me, that's unfortunate, and number 4 zapped me, and number 5 zapped me, and a Mancubus hit me. And that was pretty sloppy, and I'm choking badly, but it's okay. We've got a Megasphere. And we've survived the Archvile, so now we can just do the fight. Now the strategy for this fight is BFG conservation. We're going to use it to push through, and only to push through, and rely on infighting to do most of the work for us. And then what infighting doesn't do, we will use the rocket launcher and the shotgun. Now the reason you want to save as much BFG as possible is for that purple key fight, which can be made significantly easier if you have a BFG. In fact, it's borderline... I don't want to say it's impossible. It's impossible for me, or at least borderline impossible for me, to do without the BFG, which I realised quite early on in my practice. There is a BFG you can get in that fight, but the conditions of getting it are just a little too risky. As it is, we're looking pretty good here. We're just going to cycle back and forward, use the rocket launcher, use the cyber demons. We've managed to save 2 BFG shots, plus the 2 cell packs that we saved before the red key fight. That gives us 3 shots, and then we've got 2 big energy cell packs, which is another, I don't know, like 4 shots or something. So it's looking decent. Maybe you could do it more efficiently and have an extra BFG shot, but as it is, we're looking okay. So I'm just going to check around for any more cells, and you can see the purple key there, look. For now, we're going to get the yellow key, just finish off looking for cells, there aren't any. So we push this button. Do not push that button, because that one is the exit, which took me way too long to realise in my blind attempt. We get the cells, and now we've got to do this jump, which is pretty cruel to put that right at the end, but there it is. I mean that in an endearing way, of course. And now we need to jump down here, and of course I can't because I'm just too nervous at this point. So yeah, the gimmick with this fight is you don't make a sound. If you make a sound, then the cyber demons in the center get released, they teleport to the edges, and more cyber demons teleport into the middle. Another 6, I think. So it's pretty crazy. That's what happens if you make a sound, but it also happens if all of these barrels that you can now see get destroyed. But at the same time, you need to destroy the barrels, because destroying the barrels releases the enemies. So the theoretical way of doing this is to get the cyber demons to shoot the barrels one by one, release the enemy waves one by one, and get them to infight one by one. Now, of course, that hasn't worked here. I've ended up waking up 2 waves at once, and so I'm very conscious of not hitting any more barrels because I don't want any more waves to wake up. But yet, of course, another one has woken up, so now we've got 3 waves to deal with. We can't fire. We've got to protect those other 2 sets of barrels, because if all of them get destroyed, the cyber demons in the center get released. Now that has to happen at some point, but I want it to happen when all of the waves are dead, or at least most of them are dead, and the cyber demons are weak, because that's the point that I pounce with the BFG. And unfortunately, another set of barrels has gone down, so this is not going as planned, but I'm still alive, so we'll go with it. I really cannot afford that other set of barrels to get destroyed. Not yet. As soon as it does, I need to start firing the BFG at the center and the cyber demons and kill as many as possible, because you've got all of those to deal with, plus another 6 that teleport in. And they don't stay in the center, like I said. There's like an anti-camping strategy, or an anti-cheese strategy, where they teleport to the 4 corners of this arena. It's an absolute nightmare. So we're looking pretty good at the moment. I've managed to recover quite well. That was risky, and the barrels have gone, and now we pounce with the BFG. We fire, we keep firing, they're teleporting in, but we're going to fire every single shot we've got. There's more ammo in the middle. Keep firing, and I think we killed a good number, but there's still 1, 2, 3, 4 left. I've got 40 health. This is 20 damaging floor, by the way. So it's looking pretty bad, but we're still alive. We're still going. 2 cyber demons left, 2 revenants left. Let's get some more cells. Cyber demon's dead. Where did he go? Where did he go? He teleported away. He's over there. And we got him. 1 enemy left. So tradition dictates we have to punch him out. And there we go. That is map 5. We've got 1 enemy left, which is the way it is. He will die in a few seconds. I don't know where he is or what kills him, but he will die. And the secret that we've missed is actually this fight. So we just need to jump back in and trigger it, because we were a little too quick earlier on. And there we go. Secret activated. That enemy is now dead. And all we need to do now is get to the end of the level. Oh, big sigh of relief. This was by far the hardest level. It took me more attempts to do this than every other level combined, for sure. And I still think it's just absolutely stunning and beautiful. So there we go. That was map 5. I hope you enjoyed that, and I'll see you in map 6, which is the last proper level of the WOD.